Yes, people. What's going on? It's Ega Talks Football. We're back again with another video. And wow, another draw. Do you understand how frustrating it is to see your team draw week after week after week? Now, don't get me wrong. In the grand scheme of things, we're on the beach. The main focus is to try to just get through this game without any major injuries. And really and truly, both Arsenal and Crystal Palace, we're just trying to get out of this game with no major injuries. But Arsenal, 13 draws this season is just simply not good enough. I don't care what you say about Arsenal being in the Champions League, Arsenal doing this, Arsenal doing that. It's just simply not good enough. Arsenal's attacking woes just simply not good enough. We were unable to break down the low block after we went 2-0 up to get a third goal. We had numerous opportunities with Martinelli through on goal, opportunities with other players through on goal. Bukayo Saka had a great shot, which was saved by Dean Henderson. Let's be honest, a draw. At the end of the day, although I didn't feel like it was a fair result, we fucked it up at the end. William Saliba messed it up at the end and gave them a clear opportunity to take the ball off Odegaard. Odegaard then loses the ball, and immediately Raya is completely off the line. He's next to he's basically playing as a left-sided center back. And lo and behold, Mateta scores 2-2, and the game is done. We don't look like we're going to score again from there on in. I'm just looking at this game. I'm not going to blame Arteta. I'm not going to go in on certain players. Let's just talk about it from the beginning to the end, and let's break down some of the talking points from today's game, because I thought there was some good, some bad, some ugly, and we could take from this game whatever you guys want to take from. But let's begin by looking at the lineup and looking at what Arteta did to start off this team. He started off the game by going with a relatively strong lineup. Let's be honest. Bukayo Saka didn't play, of course. From Mikel Moreno did not play. Two crucial pieces to Arsenal's puzzle in the attack. Both Timber and Mazou Skelly got rested the previous game, so understandably so that they got to play this game. Declan Rice, Partey played, and Odegaard came off after 86 minutes. To be fair, he played pretty much the whole game also. So not really too much rotation there. The only Arteta didn't make too much rotation going into the game versus PSG because there is 9 days until we play PSG. As for Crystal Palace, safe to say Crystal Palace did not start with Mateta, showing that they're focused on their FA Cup match also. And you can see here that I don't think they played their best team either. But fair play, they got the draw at the end of the day. Now, the players I want to speak about, first player I want to speak about is Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling is finished, mate. Raheem Sterling is finished. There's no debate about it. Raheem Sterling is finished as a footballer. He's finished at Arsenal. It's sad to see how he's going out, but this is what happens when old age catches up to you. You quickly deteriorate, and we are witnessing a player who brings and offers us nothing really in today's game. What does Raheem Sterling offer us throughout the 90 minutes? I could not tell you. I think Raheem Sterling is probably one of the poorest players I've seen play for Arsenal in a long time. I'm surprised that this is what he's now become, and it's very sad to see because he used to be a player that a lot of people liked and a lot of people supported. Even when he wasn't playing for Arsenal, you probably rooted for him. You had a vested interest in rooting for him because of all the media scrutiny that Raheem Sterling would get. But Sterling in today's world is just finished as a footballer, mate. He just finished. That's just the reality. Next, going to Leandro Trossard. Scored a great goal, dummied the defender, sent somebody the other way. To be fair, he has been stepping up lately, especially in the goal-scoring opportunities. He's been starting the Premier League games, knowing that he's not going to start in the Champions League. He's been taking his opportunity in the Premier League. Scored against Everton, scored 2 versus Ipswich, and then scored again today versus Crystal Palace. To be fair, he's done his job. It's just I'm looking at the rest of the attackers. I'm saying, Martinelli, what are you doing? Sterling, what were you doing? Like, you guys were non-existent at times. And when you did have the ball, I'm looking at Martinelli and I'm saying you were ineffective. You consistently ran the ball out of play. You consistently messed it up, where Trossard, he's done his job. Trossard has done his job. Now, I'm going to quickly speak about Martinelli because we need to speak about the front three today. We drew today because our front three was relatively ineffective. And Martinelli was somebody who I backed, who I consistently backed over the last couple of days. And I said, you know what? Let's give Martinelli more leash for himself. Give him more of an opportunity. He's 23 years old. He still can get better. I understand that he can still get better. And I'm not saying sell him, but Leandro Trossard's outperforming him still. Does that mean that the club is going to look at Martinelli and say, you know what, maybe we should sell Martinelli and keep Leandro Trossard? That could be a possibility. But the issue I have with Martinelli is his decision making. And I think you can coach decision making into a player because his decision making is so poor. His inability to look up and see Saka on the other side when I've seen him so many times shoot on the near post and hit the side netting when Bukayo Saka is wide open for a cut across the box, and the goalkeeper is not going to get to it. A defender is not going to get to it. He just needs to play the ball, but he doesn't do that. His decision making is so poor that at times I question if he will ever be able to get back to what we've seen in the 2022-2023 season, because now there's a sample size of people who know what he does well and what he doesn't do well. Now, I'm not going to get on to anybody else at this moment in time. I'm just going to big up one player who deserves a lot of bigging up and a lot of praise. You know who that is? None other than the man himself, Jakub Kivor. Kivor scored a beautiful goal today. What a beautiful goal from Kivor. That was a rocket of a header. I've not seen a better header than that. Gunnar Souls, big up to you. I'm going to get to you in a second, brother. I'm just finishing up this. But yeah, the header from Kivor today, it was an absolute rocket. That was a beautiful header. I've not seen a header that at that pace from that distance at going into the top corner. Amazing header. And you know something? He actually told Odegaard what he wanted before the ball was played into him for the header. Eddie Nketiah was marking him too. By the way, how we gave Eddie Nketiah the number 14 shirt still besides me. I don't get it. The guy is just, even at Crystal Palace, he's terrible. But yeah, Kivor today was outstanding. And you know what else we should mention about Kivor today? This moment here, the block of the game. This right here was a moment where I was like, yo, Kivior's confidence is on the next level. Not only did he block Eddie Nketiah by doing the splits and blocking him with his what is that? His right leg, his non-dominant leg, blocking him with his non-dominant leg by doing the splits in the box just in front of Raya. Saved the goal right there. But he also went on, and after that, went on to dribble past like 4 players and turn into Maldini for a second. He was moving mad. Kivor today, easily Arsenal's man of the match. If we're going to give a man of the match for Arsenal, easily Arsenal's man of the match. No, nothing. Now, sorry, people, if I'm wheezing. I played basketball and I really got myself like, I'm not ready to be playing at that pace yet. So I need to gradually get myself going because I've been wheezing for the last couple of days, literally killing myself, trying to get fit again. But yeah, negatives. So we spoke about some of the positives. Let's speak about the negatives. Before we get on to Martin Odegaard, which everyone wants to get on to, we got to talk about Saliba. Saliba made a mistake once again. Now, he's done this versus Real Madrid. He done this again today. Saliba, you are one of our rocks in defense. You are one of our best players. You are one of the most important players at this club. And you cannot be making those kind of silly mistakes. Switching off mentally, I get it. He's trying to make sure he doesn't get injured. He's just coasting. We're 2-1 up. We look like we're going to go on to win the game. You make a mistake like that, give the ball to Odegaard in a very dangerous position. Ray is completely off the line. 3 players make mistakes in the lead up to the goal. But the person I blame is the person who had the ball in their feet and could have just played it to the right back. Saliba is at fault for that goal. As much as people want to scapegoat Odegaard, Saliba is at fault for the goal. Raya is being asked and instructed to play as a left-sided center back. That's what he's been asked to do when we're in possession. Simple. Now, the people in the chat really getting on to Martin Odegaard. I don't know what you guys expect. Raheem Sterling's ineffective, useless for the majority of the game. Martinelli, numerous opportunities in this game where he could have scored, didn't really do nothing. Trossard ends up getting a goal. Martin Odegaard actually set up the opening goal. I think some of you guys are really, really harsh on Martin Odegaard and quick to jump on his neck. Now, I don't know if Gunnar Soul is going to say anything negative about Martin Odegaard, but I don't have much negative to say about Odegaard today. I think you guys are too much on him. And if there's anybody who played well, it's probably Thomas Partey. You can say Trossard played well and Kivor played well. And even Raya. Raya did not have the best of games. There was moments where he made some great saves. There was moments where he looked crazy. And overall, it was just, let's just get on to PSG and let's focus on PSG and let's not get injured. But yeah, what are you saying, bro? Tell me, what's your intro?
Man, it's one of those dead rubber games. Like, we know the eyes on the Champions League. We've got PSG in a week's time. We know the league's done. It's just about getting enough points to not drop down the league table. That's it. Just get yourself secure second. Just get enough wins, get enough points, and just get it over the line. Really, just make
Talk
sure
to
that
me
we
about
get.
the 13 draws.
I mean, the 13 draws, I mean, we know we've regressed this season. We know we haven't had the season that we wanted or we were expecting, especially with Man City dropping off. And that was supposed to be the opportunity that, we go on to win the league. Now, when it comes to the 13 draws, I mean, look, we can all make many, many excuses to why that might have happened, to not having Saka, not having Odegaard at the beginning of the season, not having, certain players available, certain players getting injured at the wrong times. But in some ways, look, it's one of those seasons where we've competed for 2 years. It's always going to happen at some point. There can be that little bit of a mental drain. And I think that's just that off season that we kind of needed to have, I think. And it's kind of a blessing in disguise because there was a bit of complacency from the club settling in as well in terms of the way that we handle the summer window. Then we go into January and say we don't need attackers, etc. Going and getting Sterling, Moreno, and Calafiori as our three in the summer, and then doing nothing in January. Kind of just started to say, do you know what? We might have needed a season just to kind of wake our eyes up to the idea that we do need to go in and be stronger in these windows just to be able to reinforce and go again. And you know what it is? Like, even on the Odegaard thing, that kind of intertwines into what I'm about to kind of say is I do think a lot of people are harsh. Number one, I don't think he's had the season that he should have had. He should have been the guy that leads us and steps up and all of that sort of stuff. And he hasn't been great this season. I don't think we can sugarcoat it. But at the same time, when he has better attackers in front of him, when he doesn't have a brain dead Martinelli who's just running into the corner, or he's just running into a goal kick, that's when you're going to start to see the actual strength of what Odegaard can do, because he has been creating and he has been given opportunities. He has been playing not great, but just not good. He's just been whatever. But when he has better attackers, like, for example, if you put Gyökeres in front of him, if you put a Nico Williams in front of him, or if you put an Adam Lookman in front of him, alongside a Bukayo Saka as well, that's when you're going to see the fruits of like what Odegaard can actually do. But he has been way below standard, not just for Odegaard, but for a captain of Arsenal as well, because I don't think he's led this team. Now, the only thing that he could go and do is if he does a Declan Rice in the semi-final and in the final, cool. Because I think everyone can forgive that, because we need a Martin Odegaard moment. If he can be the guy who gets us through to the final, and then in the final he has a good game, people can sit there and go, do you know what? Cool. That's good enough. Like, that's all we need. We need you to step up when it matters. And he's been injured, obviously, as well. But
Do you blame Raya for being out of position? Because I'm seeing people telling me you're an idiot. It's not Raya's out of position. It's his fault. It's not Saliba's.
No, it's 100% Saliba's fault. Are we now not going to blame Saliba for the Madrid goal? Like, look, at the end of the day, look, I know there's certain players that the fan base will protect that the Hills come back, but a mistake is a mistake. No one's sitting there and saying Saliba needs to be sold, or he's shit, or he's garbage, or he's all of this. We still know what Saliba is, but he's had 2 lapses of concentration. We have to, as much as people want to call Odegaard out, we also have to look at it and go, actually, in the last sort of 3 games, he's done this twice now, where he's slept, he doesn't really know what's happening, and he's gotten too comfortable in a game. It's 100% Saliba's fault. You can't blame anyone else. It's a suicide pass. If that's a Granit Xhaka, you'll be honest. Like, if that was, if it was a flip, actually, Odegaard made that pass to Saliba, Saliba gets bullied and that goal happened. Everyone will be coming for Odegaard. The problem is Saliba's so protected that even when he makes a mistake, look, today it cost us, if you want to say that, because obviously it turned into a draw rather than the 3 points, whatever. But we can't be having those mistakes, and you have to call it out, and you have to sit there and go, if we do something like that against PSG, it's going to cost us because PSG can hurt us more.
Were we robbed of a fairly obvious third goal? Because they're saying this could have been a goal. If you look closely, they're saying that the ball is past the line. But if I'm not mistaken, to the naked eye, it might look like it's past the line, but it could actually be still on the line because we've had similar incidents like this. West Ham, Newcastle. I'm just saying.
I don't know. And I can't be mad at them disallowing it because I don't know is the answer to it.
I'm not looking for excuses for anybody. We're having a match reaction. We have to speak about the actual
Yeah.
topic.
I mean, if I'm being truthfully honest, it looks off. If I'm being honest, like from my way, I feel like the ball is out because if you look at the post and you look at you can't see you can't see his foot. His foot's past the post, which means the ball had to be out. But I mean, look, it's I don't know. I'm not mad at the decision. I don't think it's the wrong decision.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's not why we drew. The reason why we drew is a lapse of concentration. And the real thing that we have to look at is our recent form. We're not focused on the Premier League. You can tell by the results. Everton away, draw. Brentford at home, draw. Crystal Palace at home, draw. But when it mattered, 3-0 versus Real Madrid, 2-1 versus Real Madrid. And if this is how it's going to continue, that just means we're going to be fully focused on the Champions League and we're not really too bothered what happens in the Premier League. As long as we're comfortably in the Champions League spots, if we finish second, if we finish third, if we finish fourth, wherever we finish, I don't think we really give a shit as long as we win the Champions League. Don't you agree?
I think it's difficult as well though because like we've seen a lot of injuries this season. Like for example, Bukayo Saka has gotten injured. He's just coming back, so he even if he plays and features in some parts of these games, he's not going to give it 100% because he's just come back from a hamstring injury. Odegaard's been injured this season, so he's probably not going to give it 100% either. Declan Rice has played for virtually every single minute. Thomas Partey has played every other minute that he can play, whether it's right back, CDM, whatever. So we do look. There's an air of caution that you have to have because what we can't have, even though like Thomas Partey, for example, is suspended for the next game, the last thing we can have is him going 100% in a game that didn't really matter and pulling his hamstring again because we do need him for the second leg, and something like that is devastating for someone's season. Gabriel's already out, so I think they've got one eye on the Champions League. And I think what they thought was they'd do enough to beat, and they did do enough to beat Crystal Palace. It was the fact that Saliba decided to do whatever he did that actually cost us. Even on cruise control, at 50%, we still look like we could have won that game.
Have Liverpool officially won the league?
Oh no, they won the league in January. Like the
No,
league
no,
was
but
good.
is it officially over now?
Well, not officially. Technically, they need a point.
So they're 1 point off winning the league.
Yeah. So if they draw to Spurs, they win it. But
Man.
it's done. It was done anyway. Like I mean, if
Yeah, fair play. Fair play. You got anything to say about Liverpool?
I mean, fair play to them. Like, Arne Slot comes in. He took advantage of the fact that City and Arsenal both decided to absolutely stink out the gaff, and fair play to them. But I just don't think they'll be there next season because City will reinforce and we will reinforce as well. And I just don't see.
I'm not gonna write them off, but I'm just gonna say, you know what? He's done well. Liverpool's done well, and we go again next season. Let's see what happens. Back-to-back title wins is a different conversation to just winning it the one time, right?
100%. But I don't think it's just that. I just don't like Liverpool.
We know what we've done wrong this season. It's quite simple.
Yeah. It's the window. We didn't do enough in the window.
Yeah,
and we put ourselves short. Again, another season.
and looking at how little Ollie Watkins is playing for Crystal Palace, I mean Aston Villa, it does make me think that we could probably get him if we wanted to.
But it's done. I think a January signing would have been good because we needed him then. But in the summer, there's just so many more better opportunities to buy, even at £40 million. I just don't think we need to fork it into a 30-year-old at that point. I think there's just better options for that kind of money.
Fair play. And let's do quick player ratings. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's certain players that are not getting any good ratings at all. Raheem Sterling, he's not getting shit. Like, what did he do there's certain players that are not getting ratings. Like Raya, poor game overall. Made some good saves. I'll give him a 4, 5, 5, 5.
Yeah,
Timber,
I don't think he had enough to do,
Timber, solid game. I'll give Timber a 7.
yeah.
Saliba doesn't get a 6. What the fuck they doing? Saliba gets a 5. Bang average performance. Man of the match, Kivor, 8. Miles Lewis-Skelly had a quiet game, I'll give him a 6. I thought
Yeah,
I thought
he
the
did have a
midfielders,
he done
I
his
thought the
job.
midfielders Partey and Rice were both solid. I'm giving them both 7s. And then Trossard scored a good goal. I'll give him a 7. Odegaard, I'll give him a 6.
Yeah,
Sterling,
5, 6, yeah.
Sterling
Oh, you
gets a
guys are
2.
0. Did he
Sterling
do
gets a
anything?
2. And Martinelli gets a 4. I think the 3 lowest ratings go to Saliba, Sterling, and Martinelli.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, I hope Martinelli's just got all his shitness out in this game because I don't know what he was doing.
Yeah, he was terrible. Bukayo Saka came on. He tried for like 30 minutes. Bless the guy. In those 30 minutes, he had a shot. He created a chance. It just goes to show you, he comes on, he makes a difference right away.
Yeah,
Because
Dean Henderson, what a save.
Sterling was non-existent. Yeah, that shot. I don't know how he saved that, but fair play. Mateta comes on and wins them the game.
Yeah.
Ethan Waneri came on, barely did anything. Kieran Tierney barely did anything. Does Arteta get any blame for the draw today?
It's not his fault. I mean, I'm not also going to say it's all on the players either. I just think it's one of those situations
We
where
just focus on the Champions League.
I feel like that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Fair play to Liverpool. Congratulations. Arsenal fans, we know what we need to do. 13 draws is just not good enough. And go watch Arsenal now. Go turn over PSG because we're focused on that game and we know our season's on the line. And versus the big teams, versus the best teams, if PSG watch that game versus Crystal Palace and they come to the Emirates and they try to attack us, they're idiots.
I don't know if you're doing a preview or like a conversation before the PSG game, but it's very interesting what Luis Enrique has been saying.
I'm gonna be bringing on the PSG fan to actually speak about the game. So we'll speak Monday, inshallah. But right now, big up everyone. Hopefully you guys have yourself a wonderful day. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Do me a favor, go on to Monsa's channel and say hashtag slot out because I can't have this guy winning the league. Anyways, go on raid him and say hashtag slot out, people. I'm out of here, people. Love for the love. You already know what it is. Peace.